Hello YouTube, what's going on? Shane 2K here. I'm with my good friend Michael Politi, and this is The Morning After, Episode 3. Michael, say hi.
What up, what up?
Michael and me went to high school together. Well, Mike's still in high school, but I just graduated. We actually met in, video class, which I think is funny. And first day, just started talking about hoops, and since then, been great friends. So, if you're new to The Morning After, basically anything that happened the day before, if it was late at night, you were too tired to keep up on it, or you woke up, it's meant to be kind of enjoyed with your breakfast, first thing you do when you wake up. A relaxed info show about the NBA. I don't know. I change up the slogan every single time. If you're wondering if you're here to hear about Paolo Banchero, I'm sorry. This is filmed at 11 p.m. the day before. I'm not staying up till 12:30 tonight after working a 10-hour shift just to talk about two players, Jabari Smith and Paolo. So, we're going to jump into it. The first thing we're talking about is the Kevin Durant decline trade. Now, the trade was the Nets sent this over to the Timberwolves. It was KD for Karl-Anthony Towns, Anthony Edwards, and 4 first-round picks. The Timberwolves declined. I totally agree with Timberwolves on this one. Mike, how do you feel? Was it expected by you for the Timberwolves to decline this trade?
Well, they should have declined the trade. I mean, Karl-Anthony Towns is an all-star. Edwards is going to be an all-star next year, at least in my opinion. And 4 first-round picks, that's just too much to give up considering the whole Rudy Gobert trade that happened last week. And honestly, I think at the beginning of the season, Kevin Durant will end up on the Nets roster still because there's just no way any team can put together a package that doesn't destroy their future or trade any stars over for Durant.
I mean, the only team I could, even possibly be seeing doing it would be, it sounds so stupid, but you gotta hear me out. The Thunder, low-key, because they just have so many picks, so many assets, not messing up their future, and they get KD, but they're not in a win-now mode, so it wouldn't make sense. The Suns, I could see it low-key. I could see them doing it, because they have DeAndre Ayton they could trade, they have picks they could trade, and then they get KD. They're in a win-now mode. They're not trying to rebuild. They're not trying for a dynasty. But the Nets said they don't want anything that's not Devin Booker. So,
exactly.
Just, if they ask for, Karl-Anthony Towns, Edwards, maybe just 1 first-round pick, maybe. But if you ask for Cat and Edwards straight up, I still don't even know. I think the Timberwolves were fully, made the best decision here. It would have kind of been jumping the gun if they trade for KD, but I'm happy they didn't. I'm happy Kevin Durant is still in net for now, and I'm happy Cat and Edwards get to stay together. Well, they would have stayed together, but they're still in Minnesota.
Yeah. Well, even if it was just KD for Cat and Edwards, if I were the Timberwolves, I would still decline because they just traded all these assets and all this stuff for Gobert, trying to pair up Cat and Gobert as the 2 big guys on the team, and Edwards is just a rising star. I don't think you want to give up talent that good this early for Durant, who is still very good, but aging, So,
I mean, Minnesota sports is always known for their defense. Back in the 80s, 90s, the Vikings defense was known as it sounds so stupid, they were the purple people eaters, and they had all of their money on their defense, and they had one of the best defenses for 3 decades, and now it's the Timberwolves are kind of transitioning where you got Rudy Gobert, debatably one of the best defensive centers. I'm not saying best center, I'm saying defensive-minded centers. He's won, 2 DPOYs, 3 DPOYs?
3, yeah.
Yeah, and then you got Cat, who is incredible. Anthony Edwards, just a blooming star.
Don't forget about D'Angelo Russell, too.
Forgot about D'Lo. Josh Okogie, don't forget about him, dude.
Yeah, they did trade away some of their shooters, though, in Vanderbilt and who was the other guy they traded?
Either way.
What up?
It's just Kevin Durant in the Timberwolves, it would have been cool. It would have been so cool to see KD suiting up in Minnesota. But then you got, Rudy Gobert, D'Angelo Russell, Kevin Durant. I can't say that's better than the Nets at all. I feel
I can't either.
The Nets would have totally won that trade. You got Kyrie, Cat, Anthony Edwards, Ben Simmons. And their bench is insane. They would, if they maybe if they gave up more, if you packaged Kyrie and KD together, screw it, do it. Great trade. But I feel like all 3 episodes have had something to do with Kevin Durant so far. So, big opening with Kevin Durant. But next up, I think he's playing right now. We got to talk about Chet Holmgreen's Summer League debut. In his first game, he had 23 points, which was not crazy for him. But the 3 blocks is the big deal, and the biggest deal is
he had 6 blocks in his first game.
Sorry, 6 blocks, whatever. He had 3 blocks in the first half, my bad. But one of them was on Tacko Fall, who's 7'6". He was 4 for 6 from 3, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. His second game had a double-double with 11 and 11, 2 blocks and 3 assists. And he got bodied at one point, which, it was bound to happen. He got bodied. It's perfectly fine. He's a small guy, and he's a... we see that with next year's pick, probably first overall pick, Victor Wembanyama. He's also, one of those, small centers. It's weird to see, but Victor Wembanyama is strides ahead of Chet.
Well, he has more muscle than Chet. Kenny Lawson Jr. is an undrafted player on the Grizzlies, and he's 6'7", bodying Chet in the post. I just can't see unless Chet does, the Giannis workout routine where by year 5, he's absolutely huge. I just can't see him going against any centers in the NBA and doing well.
I mean, let's be real. I feel like the slender center is kind of going to take over the NBA, and here's why. I feel like you have players like Rudy Gobert. Honestly, yeah, he's tall, but can you say he's the beefiest center? Chet Holmgreen's kind of starting the trend almost. Tacko Fall also really... he's 300 pounds. He's the heaviest player, but, he'll get bodied by most people in the NBA just because of how awkward he is. Chet's tall as hell, but he's thin. Victor Wembanyama, he's tall. He has more muscle, which isn't hard to do with Chet. But, he's, not your typical center. And he could really play 1 through 5, Victor. He's just, it's insane. But the thing about Chet is, I feel like he's starting this trend of, slim centers, and I feel like it could become a thing. Joel Embiid obviously is going to bully Chet. At least that's what people think. I still feel like Chet is great on defense regardless. He got 6 blocks in his first Summer League game. That was crazy.
Yeah, just Imagine Chet standing there taking a charge on Joel Embiid, though.
I've seen
Embiid
so many
will absolutely destroy him.
James Green, there's a shout out to you. I doubt you'll hear this video. I sent James 2 memes already. It was Chet Holmgreen taking his first charge against Giannis, and then it's Zion Williamson coming in for a charge against Chet Holmgreen, and it's a dude getting hit by a car. There was one quote by Chet Holmgreen. I don't have it exactly, but it was he doubts that he'll ever be 290. If Chet could really bulk up like that, it might be over for the league. And let's just talk about OKC for a second. You got Shy, you got Chet, you got Giddy. I could name 5 more, and you have all the first round picks in the world. Even if they don't use all the first round picks and they trade, that team is everyone's saying oh, the class of 2027 is looking great for them right now. Oh, all those 7th graders playing whatever, dude. They are loaded for the future. And let's just say they tank another year and they get a player like Victor Wembanyama, or they get somebody crazy in the top 5. That team is just stacking up slowly, and especially if Shy stays and those Lou Dort stays, all them stay, it's gonna be great.
Yeah, Dort just signed a 5-year, I think it was 86 mil contract, so he's there.
Yeah,
but once all the players develop and stuff, if they tank for maybe another year or 2, get all these guys, I could see them. I don't know. They'll be good, but they won't be great for another 5-6 years.
No, 100%, and that's the thing. Unless they go into a win now mode, like I said, if they trade for KD, that would probably, with all that talent they already have, and next year, let's say, or they trade for let's say Bronny gets drafted to OKC, and then LeBron goes there at age 41, 42, dude, that team, LeBron's probably not going to be producing like he is now, but just imagine, big-time players coming to OKC, that's never happened. They've never... they got Carmelo Anthony one year. They got Paul George in the same year. They had a big 3, quote-unquote. But, Chris Paul was there for a year. But they've never really been an attraction because they're a small market team.
Yeah, and they also came from Seattle, too. So it's just,
they moved because they were a small market team. Seattle has always been... Until the Seahawks came along, Seattle has always been a historically small market franchise, and it's perfect that OKC they're like the only team in Oklahoma City. They could really start the trend where like one of those teams breaks out. Like the Golden State Warriors, yeah, they had Wilt and stuff. They had a great team in the 90s too, but like think about it, without the Splash Bros and stuff, they wouldn't be as big as they are. Even like teams, I mean the Lakers, that's how they made it. Like Los Angeles wasn't a prime place of basketball, and they had the rivalry with the Celtics. Boston too. That's how the Boston sports started. Like, yeah, you had Babe Ruth back 1,000 years ago, and the Patriots came up in the 2000s, but without the Celtics, that sports, they wouldn't be as diehard, and they wouldn't be as big of a franchise. Like, this could be a start for OKC with this team building. But, yeah, go on.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, I do think Holmgren will work all right with Shai, and if he does develops, they get a top 5 pick next year. Shai stays, Dort stays, develops. I think also the OKC could become a bigger franchise, a more attracting franchise for maybe superstars to come along because of all the young talent that they could go into a win now mode in a couple years. So,
100%. Now, we talked about one of the blocks in Chet Holmgreen's first game against Tacko Fall. Now, not a lot to talk about Tacko Fall, but he's always been one of my favorite players. It's actually funny. There's this YouTuber. Before I started my YouTube channel, one of the first videos I wanted to make was a Tacko Fall My Career. This is before he was drafted. This is when he was still at UCF. And I put him on the Bulls, and I made a whole first episode, and it looked so stupid. But then Slim Mama did it, got millions of views off of it, and it was awesome. And so I love to keep track of Tacko Fall. You know, he was on the Celtics. Then he was on the Maine Red Lobsters, their D-League team. And then he went to the Cavs for a little bit, played on their D-League team. Now he's been signed by the Utah Jazz, which, a hot take here. Let's just say they developed Tacko Fall. Now, what is the biggest thing the Jazz just lost?
And Tacko Fall?
No, the Jazz. What's the biggest thing they just lost?
Oh, Rudy Gobert.
Exactly. They need... Now, even if Tacko Fall isn't the greatest center in the world, they need that tall paint defense type of guy just to fill in for a year to still fit their defense. Now,
well, all you really have to do with him is just lob the ball up and just let him dunk a few times a game, and that's all.
Unless Chet Holmgreen's in the paint, then he's getting blocked. But Tacko Fall and the Jazz, I love it. This could be the career resurgence, or it could be the last team he plays for. All I know is one day I will have all 4 Tacko Fall jerseys: UCF, Celtics, Cavs, and Jazz. Next thing I want to get into now, this is one of those feel-good stories I love to talk about. Aron Baynes is coming back into the NBA. Now, a lot of you may have not even noticed Aron Baynes was gone. His kind of claim to fame in the NBA is just getting dunked on, which is kind of funny. There's a 10-minute video of Aron Baynes just getting dunked on, which is awesome. But last year in the Tokyo Olympics, he had a freak fall in one of the games. And this is his first workout for an NBA team in a year. He had a spinal cord injury. Do I expect big things from Aron Baynes? No. But it's almost like the Sharif O'Neal story to me, where he had the heart condition, couldn't walk, and then now he's on the Lakers. Like, how do you feel? I mean, there's not much to feel about it, but how do you feel that Aron Baynes is making a full comeback?
I think he can. I mean, on Phoenix, I used to watch him, and I thought he was a pretty good player for them. I mean, he's played for a bunch of teams in the past. He has the experience. He's played for, Australia, right? Was it?
Yep.
Yeah, he plays with, like, Patty Mills and those guys in the Olympics. Yeah, I think he can make a full comeback. I think he'll maybe get signed by a team this year, maybe after the workouts before the season starts. But, yeah, he was a pretty good player. He played for the Suns, the Raptors, Spurs. I think he got drafted by the Spurs. But... yeah, I think personally he'll make a full comeback and get back into the league.
Aron Baynes, if you are for some reason hearing this video, good luck to you. You're not going to see this. I'm not even going to waste my breath. But next up, this was highly requested on our Twitter, which if you don't follow my Twitter, it's at Shaney2K. All of Mike's socials will be in the description. I just put on my Twitter to Knicks fans, what's something you want to hear about? And all of the comments were Immanuel Quickley. So I'll let you start this off. The first question was, where do you see Immanuel Quickley in the rotation next year?
Well, I think Tibbs should give him more of a chance in this previous year. His rookie season, he was a good player, but now that we got Brunson and stuff, I think he'll be in the second rotation. I mean, I think maybe he'll play maybe alongside Derrick Rose if we keep him, because I've heard he's been in trade rumors, but I think he should be the backup point guard of Brunson. I don't know about you.
Listen, I love Derrick Rose to death. Been a fan of him since I got into basketball because Mike Orzemba was the guy I watched. Always talked highly on Derrick Rose, one of the first players I watched. Just so athletic. Not anymore, but, Derrick Rose, there was like that. I remember when he was on the Timberwolves, he dunked for the first time like 4 years, and it was really cool. But
and 50.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, like, I love Derrick Rose. It's cool to see him come second run on the Knicks. Everybody forgets about that first run. Like, I'm going to bring up a memory for diehard Knicks fans. There was one game where Derrick Rose was literally missing. Did not contact the team that he wasn't going to be at the game. No one knew where he was. And I remember the commentators talking about Derrick Rose is missing, guys. Like they had no idea where Derrick Rose was. And to come back from that fully and now be a Knick and loved by Knicks fans and loved by... I mean, you can't hate Derrick Rose. I'm happy to see him back, but damn, I'd love to trade him for a pick or something. Like, Immanuel Quickley, his rookie season, before we traded for Rose that year, right?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
That was the year we made the playoffs. So he was playing quality minutes, was in the Rookie of the Year race like certain weeks, was in the Rookie of the Month conversation certain weeks, was putting up great points for the minutes he was playing, and then Derrick Rose came, his minutes got, they got put down. I think he was even in top 5 for Rookie of the Year that year. And then
Quickley would just hit, he could go on a hot streak. He would 4 threes in a row. He'd be pretty clutch for the next 2 all the time. I did really, really like him that year. I thought he was going to be very good for us.
But the thing is, like, Derrick Rose is the reason we stunted. Now, did Derrick Rose bring lots to the table? Yeah, we made the playoffs. Julius Randle had that fluke season, or hopefully not a fluke season, but he had a great season. And that team worked. The team isn't working anymore. I'd be happy with trading Rose, have Immanuel Quickley as 6-man or just backup point guard. Like, Immanuel Quickley deserves it. Tibbs has had the most questionable rotations and style. Like, he won Coach of the Year and then, like, was hated by all Knicks fans 365 days later. So
yeah, that was wild because, I mean, he brought the Knicks to the first playoff appearance in years since Melo was on the team and that J.R. Shumpert, all those guys. And I loved him at first. But last year, the rotations he would put in, he wouldn't play certain players sometimes. Like, for example, Cam Reddish, we get him. We barely play him the whole season. I don't understand that. And some of his rotations were just not very smart to win games.
No, it was... I still don't understand why we traded for Cam Reddish when we barely played him.
Yeah, like
it made zero sense.
Knocked out of here, but get Cam Reddish, who's a great shooter and can, do a lot of things and help us out, and we just play him 5 minutes a game, not even sometimes.
Now, the next thing, this kind of fits into the next question. Why do you think Immanuel Quickley hasn't really had his chance to shine? This question comes from leader of the Dispatch, Wenz. So shout out Wenz. But why do you think Immanuel Quickley really hasn't had his shot, hasn't had his minutes? Like, Tibbs, again, you can't... I wish I was in his brain because it makes no sense at times. But what's your thinking behind it?
I don't really have a huge opinion on it. I just think he hasn't really had his shot because mostly of Tibbs. I don't know. Maybe it's because we made the playoffs the previous year and Tibbs got some confidence and just thought Quickley was not right for the rotation and wasn't fit for another run at the playoffs. But I don't know. I don't really have a huge opinion on that.
I can't give an answer to that. It was a great question, but no one can answer that. Next up, another Knicks related thing, which, by the way, if you guys don't know, I've had now a Sixers fan and Knicks fan last one, so this kind of talks about the layout of the show. I think when I'm mostly talking about just around the NBA, I'll have a Knicks fan on to talk the whole episode. But when I'm talking just Knicks, I'll either have multiple callers or it'll be a fan that isn't a Knicks fan because I like the outside perspective. But Mike, whatever you want to call him, Politi, one of the biggest Knicks fans I know. You could literally talk about like the 80s with him, and he'd be able to talk about it with you at length. Big LeBron supporter too. Just had to throw that in. But the next thing we're talking about, Jericho Sims gets a 3-year deal. Again, no sense. I love Jericho Sims, 58th pick, but he averaged 2 points a game and 4 rebounds a game in his rookie season. Didn't really get to prove himself because of Tibbs. Why? And he played 41 games. Why in the world did we give him?
Yeah.
I like the money, but a 3-year deal. Like, it seems like one of those stupid Knicks contracts that are impossible to trade out of, because no one wants Jericho Sims on a 3-year deal.
Yeah.
Why did we do that? I don't get it. Like, I love Jericho Sims. I think he has potential. Not that much potential. Like, give him a 1-year deal with it next year, play him maybe. Like, and I have a weird feeling he's going to play no minutes this season again. Like,
yeah, as a Knicks fan, I'm used to this, though. Like, we give a bunch of guys with stupid contracts, all this stuff. Signed Brunson for $104 million. Like, and by the way, like, random fact, Brunson is the only player to sign that big of a deal that's never been an All-Star. But I do remember one game this past season. I'm pretty sure it was against the Nets when Cam Thomas hit those step-back threes and just they came back from 26 down without Durant or Irving playing nothing. Sims actually, I was watching him, and he did pretty well. I mean, he had like 12 rebounds and 10 points, and I thought he could fit somehow as a backup to Mitch Robinson and maybe play in the rotation. But a 3-year, whatever, $13 million I think we gave him is just way too much for a guy that has not really done anything or really played much.
He got the same deal as John Wall. I mean, John Wall's was just a year. But, like, the same amount of money John Wall's getting paid this year, Jericho Sims, around the same, within $5 million. Jericho Sims is making for 2 points a game. Listen, this is going to sound embarrassing. It's going to show that I really didn't keep up with basketball last year. I had no idea Jericho Sims was a forward. Like, no clue until you said that. I'm embarrassed to say it. That's how little he was played, and that's how little he was shown. I could name our whole roster front to back. I'd say Jericho Sims. Did I know he played forward until you said that? No. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. Whatever. We're done with Knicks talk today. Speaking of huge deals.
Yeah, here we go. Bradley Beal.
Now, I just want to talk about one stat. Bradley Beal signed a 5-year, huge deal, whatever. Supermax, whatever.
$254 million, I think, something like that.
Bradley Beal becomes only the 10th player to have a no-trade clause all time, joining LeBron James, Kevin Garnett, Carmelo Anthony, Dirk Nowitzki, Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade, Tim Duncan, David Robinson, and John Stockton. The contract also has a 15% trade kicker and player option in year 5. Now, here's the thing. If you're going to put a list together of 9 players, including LeBron, KG, Melo, Dirk, Kobe, D-Wade, Duncan, David Robinson, and John Stockton.
All Hall of Famers.
Is Bradley Beal going to make the Hall of Fame? Now, you can say that has nothing to do with him getting a no-trade clause. Whatever.
No,
you're naming 9, if not in the Hall of Fame, which it's only LeBron and Melo, definite Hall of Famers. Like, it just... that stat shocks me. Does Bradley Beal deserve a no-trade clause? I don't... I mean, yeah, his loyalty might have earned him it, because he's
just his loyalty. I mean...
And his
the
play.
team's just
He's
an
played
underperforming superstar. Like,
he's had... Go on.
Yep.
No, you talk.
Yeah, I mean, he's just like, the 1 year when he broke out, averaged, 30 points a game? He lost the scoring title to Steph, who averaged 32.
But that's not embarrassing at all.
That's like the only time I've seen him even compete for any award. I mean, he just is like, I can't call him a superstar because he hasn't just done much. I mean, he's made All-Star games and stuff, but that's really it.
To be fair, he's gotten snubbed multiple times of an All-Star, but the thing is, like, Bradley Beal, they deserve the money? Yeah. They deserve the no-trade clause? No. You put your team in a really tough position, and there's a reason why players like LeBron have gotten it. Kevin Garnett, I won't even agree with. Carmelo Anthony got it. Dirk got it. Like, I understand those because you're not going to try and trade LeBron to the Brooklyn Nets at the time from the Heat when they were horrible, winning 20 games a year. Because, first of all, it's unfair to LeBron. Second of all, it would make your franchise look bad. And third of all, LeBron would probably just, go to the WNBA. Bradley Beal doesn't really deserve that. You put your team in a tough position now. Let's say you want to trade Beal to the Knicks, but the Knicks suck. But you can get back a good couple picks and a good package. Beal's going to be like, no. And the player option year 5, fine with. The money I'm fine with. I just don't understand it. Now, let's talk about the James brothers a little bit. Now, no stats have really been revealed, but as you know, Bronny's been playing with blue chips, always has. They've made kind of a god squad. They put, it'll be one player. It's their final run. And all you see are highlights of him dunking, shooting far threes. Have you seen any of the Bronny clips?
Yeah, I have. I've seen all the dunks, the one where he slapped the backboard, all that stuff.
Yeah, and it's crazy. He's having a great final run. I believe it's his senior year, because he's in the same grade as you, right?
Yeah, he's in my grade, yeah.
He's in the same draft class as you.
Yeah, we'll see.
No other kid would get this attention if they weren't LeBron's kid. And the thing is, I find it weird. I love to talk about this. Michael Jordan had 2 sons that played college basketball. They weren't very good at basketball, but, Bronny, no one talks about his high school stats. I could find I've seen before, it's a fold-out picture of all of LeBron's stats from high school. But, AAU wasn't huge back then. There wasn't, they weren't keeping stats on for everything. But do you think Bronny's really going to make it? Do you think he's actually, I could see him, Shareef O'Neal and Scottie Pippen Jr. both made it. I'm not going to say Scottie Pippen Jr. didn't make it because of his play, because Scottie Pippen Jr. is pretty good in college. But Shareef O'Neal made it just because of his name, to be completely honest.
Yeah, well, it's going to be the same thing with Bronny. Bronny is not that skilled of a player to be able to make it to the league. His dad is LeBron James. Obviously, teams are going to be looking for him because, as LeBron said, wherever he goes, plays final season, he's going to play with Bronny. So teams could tank for that just to get LeBron, but that is the only reason he'll make the league. But on the other hand, Bryce James, the dude's 6'6", and he's going into freshman year, I think. That picture that was just released of LeBron and Bryce, he's 2 inches shorter than him. I think he will be way better than Bronny once he develops.
Now, here's the thing. I call it the little brother syndrome. Now, the Ball brothers, all you heard about was Lonzo Ball. When they were still in Chino Hills, it was Lonzo Ball going crazy. LiAngelo Ball would do his part, which he'd have crazy games. It was just he played different. And then it was always LaMelo, the younger brother. Oh, he's crazy. He was erratic.
92 points.
Always said. Well, I don't even care about the 92 points. That was the stupidest thing ever, honestly. Crazy they scored 92 points, but, a lot of it was cherry-picked. It was against a bad team. Another thing to say about Bronny really quick. In that championship game, or whatever it was, his most recent highlights, the other team doesn't even look like they're playing in jerseys. And I think they won by, 1 point. That other team was wearing, blue, cutoffs. It was the weirdest. I just want to bring that up. But Bryce James, little brother syndrome. I'm going to talk about it again. LaMelo, obviously, as of right now, probably the best Ball brother. I always called it. I said he always had to go up against 2 NBA caliber players his whole life. Now you have Bryce James, who this is really the first or second time. The first time was Space Jam. The second time Bryce James is even getting a nod, because Bronny has always gotten the attention. Bryce James is going to be the best James brother. I don't even know if there's another one. I think there's a girl. It doesn't matter. Bryce James is going to be the better out of the two of Bronny and himself. You gotta say it. He could actually, and he's taller. He's 6'6" as a freshman or a sophomore. He's doing incredible things already. I remember watching, it was always Bryce Maximus James. You looked it up on YouTube, you'd find a few YouTube channels would find his clips from 6th grade. And it was awesome to watch. And he was always talented.
In no time, the dude was 6'6". I feel last year he was just 5'10". No one gave him any attention. Just out of nowhere, he just grew crazy.
In Space Jam, he looks like a 6th grader. And now he looks like a college athlete. I'm telling you now, little brother syndrome. Bryce James will be the best James that isn't LeBron. Bronny's name is LeBron. He's going to be the best James descendant. So, that's pretty much the end of the morning after. To end this, I do want to give some prayers out to Johnny Juzang. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right. Played at UCLA. He did get in a car accident right before Summer League. Apparently he's fine. That's what I've read on league alerts. But it's just more of a like a kind of to be safe thing that he's not playing in Summer League. Prayers out to Johnny if he's not doing good. But, I'm sure he'll be back for the season. But, Mike, it was a pleasure having you on the morning after, even though we're not seeing at all what Paolo Banchero's doing. You can really say whatever you want to end this. Just, what are your thoughts? Anything?
I don't know. Thanks for having me on this. Everyone listen in. And LeBron James is winning the MVP this year.
I hate you. That's all, guys. Everybody have a great rest of your day. And this was The Morning After.